Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering woke media collapses as CNN does massive layoffs and the Daily Beast loses millions. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from Breitbart, failing CNN to axe 100 jobs, try to survive with lifestyle journalism. And from Deadline, CNN to reduce staff by about 100 people as CEO unveils new details of one newsroom strategy. Layoffs include media critic Brian Lowry. And that's not all. From The Hollywood Reporter, Barry Diller spent millions to feed a dying beast. It's well known that the beleaguered Daily Beast has been losing money. What's less known is just how much cash it's bleeding. And it's a lot, $9 million in just 1 year. So what's the point of even being in business? The point of being in business is advocacy journalism, trying to get out your message, trying to convince the public of something, persuade them, brainwash them, put your message in what's supposed to be honest journalism. Advocacy journalism is a genre of journalism that adopts a non-objective viewpoint, usually for some social or political purpose, rather than just telling you what the heck is going on and giving you both sides to think about a situation. They're giving you one side, they're giving you propaganda, and it doesn't make for very good viewership. Two big announcements from CNN on Wednesday. First, the far-left conspiracy theory outlet is cutting approximately 100 jobs. The second announcement is what's not announced, and that's the launch of a CNN streaming subscription service. Instead, CNN will launch a couple of free streaming channels, or what's known as free ad-supported streaming television, or FAST TV. That's also like Pluto TV. It's free to watch, you get it with ads, and the ads generate the revenue for the channel. CNN has gotten to the point where no one will pay for their lies. CNN's disgraced CEO Mark Thompson announced the job cuts and the launch of FAST channels in a company-wide memo. Thompson announced that CNN.com will announce its first subscription product this year. He said the subscription offerings will be want-to-use content that will be anchored by lifestyle journalism as part of a wider effort to build a billion-dollar business. He also announced the launch of additional FAST channels, with CNN Originals and CNN in Espanol debuting later this year. They will be added to the CNN and the CNN International FAST channels. There's nothing wrong with these FAST channels. These ad revenue-based channels. Pluto TV is doing great business. If you have a lot of content and you can make money from it from advertising revenue, there's really nothing wrong with that. But CNN is basically searching for a business model. They know cable is collapsing. They know interest in their news channel is collapsing. They know when Donald Trump is on their news channel, love him, hate him, whatever, he's the only one that seems to bring in business. And let's face it, every time he goes on CNN, something big happens at CNN. But other than Donald Trump, they can't seem to generate interest in their channel to generate an actual business for the future. Because all these companies that are producing cable content know very well they need to figure out how they're going to make money in the future. Because having a cable channel that nobody really trusts and nobody really watches is not going to be good business, especially a few years from now. CNN is trying to save itself the same way the New York Times has, by offering subscriptions to lifestyle stuff. You see, no one is going to subscribe to fake news. So these fake outlets have to offer something entirely different to remain alive. Here's what Thompson wrote about the job cuts. Wherever possible, we've closed open positions rather than target currently occupied roles. However, some of our colleagues will learn today that their jobs are being eliminated or are at risk. The number of colleagues potentially impacted is around 100 out of a workforce of more than 3,500. But I don't underestimate the impact this news is likely to have on everyone affected, and want to thank them for everything they've done for this great company over the years. The slow motion death of cable and satellite TV made this inevitable. And the first major player cut from CNN, media critic Brian Lowry. From Deadline, CNN to reduce staff by about 100 as CEO unveils new details of one newsroom strategy. Among those who were laid off from CNN were Brian Lowry, its media critic, and senior tech writer Samantha Murphy-Kelly. CNN Worldwide CEO Mark Thompson said that about 100 people would be impacted by the job cuts, or about 3% of its 3,500 employees. Lowry has been a longtime critic and reporter covering television and the media and previously worked for Variety and the Los Angeles Times. Is anyone really spending time on CNN content because of this Lowry guy? I don't think so, and that's probably why they got rid of him. But they have a lot more cutting to do. They brought this Brian Stelter back. He doesn't have a regular show, but he still shows up from time to time. CNN Worldwide CEO Mark Thompson unveiled more details of a one newsroom strategy to merge linear and digital news gathering, while he announced that about 100 employees would be impacted by staff reductions. The CNN workforce is right now about 3,500, but they're not going to keep those people if they can get the same job done with less people. These layoffs usually go in spurts. 100 people now is 100 more people in a couple of months, and who knows how many hundreds the months following. The CEO went on to say, quote, domestic and international news desks will retain their domestic and international specialisms for now, but will work more closely together and come together to share resources for big breaking stories, Thompson wrote. Those who previously worked as a digital news writer or editor, or news desk producer or editor, working in separate structures and performing often duplicative tasks, will join unified teams in the US and our main international hubs. There will be a new role of story manager to manage all aspects of a story from the beginning to publication or airing. Digital video team members will also be embedded throughout coverage and work alongside editorial and deployment teams. The fact-checking team will also be reporting to the news organization and will be an integrated part of the reporting process from the beginning. So what they're looking to do is probably be more like Fox News, consolidate how they develop their content internally so that they don't have people doing the same job in different offices to tell the same story, which does make sense. If a news story comes out, they don't have to spend like 5 times the resources to tell the same story in slightly different ways in multiple different offices. Why not just have it be centralized and then maybe tailor it in a little bit of a custom way to certain international media markets, because they are located in multiple countries and there may be a different way to tell a story in one country or another country. But this is definitely setting them up for many more layoffs. The people that they're talking about working closely together now are coming closer and closer to consolidation. I would expect from these 100 layoffs to see like at least 400 or 500 layoffs come next year. And you would not notice the difference when you look at their content. It's going to still be the same nonsense and at the same level of quality with a lot less employees. CNN also announced it's creating a TV Futures Lab, which will develop and manage streaming and video on-demand programming for Max. Max is their streaming service for Warner Bros. Discovery, which also owns CNN. The lab will also develop ways to migrate linear news to other digital offerings, which has been one of Thompson's chief goals. CEO Thompson went on to say, quote, our recent journalistic performance has been outstanding, from major election set pieces to the Trump trial to a flurry of exclusive interviews and features. I've asked my managers to explore how to build on that, increase audience competitiveness, and also keep a close eye on production costs. When a CEO is keeping a close eye on production costs, he's saying, hey, look, we are cutting our production costs. Help us figure out how to cut costs, and you'll be here after we've fired everyone else. The CEO also reiterated his plans to boost video offerings on digital platforms, suggesting that more on-air linear talent will take part in digital content. Lots more cuts and consolidation coming to CNN. And from The Hollywood Reporter, Barry Diller spent millions to feed a dying beast. It's well known the beleaguered Daily Beast has been losing money. What's less known is just how much money it's been losing. The Daily Beast was on track to lose $9 million this year and was hours away from being sold to a private equity company, according to its CEO and publisher Ben Sherwood, who delivered the startling news to shell-shocked staffers during an all-hands call last week. The CEO, Ben Sherwood, and Chief Content and Creative Officer, Joanna Coles, took the reins of the website in April and have sought to cut the site's losses with buyouts and layoffs. When they're doing buyouts, they're buying out people's employment contracts so that person is off their overhead. It goes like this. We don't really need you anymore. We don't want to lay you off. Can we just give you a check and have you go away? Sometimes it's cheaper for the company to just write somebody a check, have them go away, rather than have them get laid off. Around 30 people left the company last week, including senior editors and top reporters. Well, when we arrived in April, the company was set to lose $9 million this year. This is just the Daily Beast website. It's not like it's some giant publication like the Washington Post or something like that. Just the Daily Beast website, $9 million gone in 1 year. Sherwood told staffers on Monday, according to an audio recording of the meeting obtained by Hot Source, quote, to put that differently, it was on track to spend $9 million more than the revenue it was bringing in. That's $9 million in losses on top of many millions and millions of losses in previous years and even more losses, tens of millions in projected years ahead. Quote, as you know, Barry Diller, a self-made billionaire media guy, and IAC, his company, have always believed in the Beast and they've always funded it, Sherwood continued. For a variety of reasons, Diller and IAC decided they need to make changes, and you probably heard or probably read there was a plan to sell the Beast to private equity, which would have in turn laid off almost everybody at the company and run the business as a slow wind-down operation. That almost happened. In fact, it was hours away from taking place. A slow wind-down operation is what it sounds like. They would not be investing in the company. They would be getting rid of people over time and getting whatever value they possibly could out of it. A private equity company buying a failing company does that knowing how they're going to get money out of the company before it ceases to exist. A death warrant. The fact that the Beast was losing money will come as no surprise, but the full extent of Barry Diller's losses was unknown until now. The enormity of those losses shocked veterans of the publication, including royal correspondent Tom Sykes. Quote, that figure of $9 million in losses. I've never heard that number, and that is shocking. I knew the company wasn't doing great, but I had no idea, he said on the call. Quote, I think that's an astonishing figure, and hats off to Barry Diller for keeping it going, and hats off to us for keeping it going. Well, though not hats off to you. Hats off to Barry Diller for being an independent billionaire and deciding he wanted to keep funding something that he thought was an important publication. But it's not. It doesn't deserve to exist. Not for any financial reasons, obviously. It should just be shut down, and then let people go do some productive work. As Hot Source first reported, the new leadership had a rocky start. Their DC bureau chief quit just after 6 weeks, owing to his frustration with Cole's ideas. The publication now has only one reporter based in DC just months before the election and has been frantically trying to recruit political reporters. But we are having conversations with people. I want to be respectful of those conversations. We're moving as fast as we can on that front. The new executive editor told the staff about their Washington recruitment efforts. Sherwood said on the call that thanks to cutbacks and buyouts, the Beast is now on track to break even next year and move into profitability in 2026. The former ABC executive told staffers they plan to bring new hires in the coming months. The site has been operating with the help of freelancers and contractors as it looks to recruit more journalists. Quote, the overall crew will be smaller as the finances simply don't support the size of the staff that we had before, but we're confident that we can bring in really smart people, Cole said. Woke CNN and the Daily Beast are going to have a hard time making money. They're struggling because all they're selling really is propaganda. Some people do like just watching one-sided propaganda. Others go to multiple media sources. That's what I do. I'll watch some CNN. I know what the game is. They do have some good interviews from time to time. I especially like interviews with attorneys. A lot of those attorneys are one-sided, but you still get some pretty good insight. If you really want to know what's going on, you can't just get everything from one place. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.